I'm all set.
All right, that's 2. I can't fuck it up now.
Boop.
Okay. We're good?
Yeah.
And we're off. No, I'm just kidding. So, episode 3, maybe? No, we're not good. It's podcast vlog time. Episode 3 of both, I guess. We'll say it's like a combo. So, yeah. We had the open end last Friday. We did the last workout, 19.5, all 3 of us. And it's okay, we can edit this if we need to. So 19.5, right? We finished it up last Friday. Matt, Lauren, and I all did the open this year. This year was my 8th open. Lauren, what was it for you? 7th.
6th
No.
open.
Didn't you do it the year?
No, because I started in April.
Okay.
So
right.
the open was already done. So this was my 6th.
6.
Yep.
And Matt,
First one.
the
Woohoo.
first one.
Nailed it.
Yep.
Finished it.
Popped his open cherry.
Awesome.
Now I need to go again so I can kick my own ass.
Yeah, right? So that's actually a pretty good segue into what we're going to talk about today. Since we didn't get a lot of footage for our vlog this week, I thought it'd be a good idea just to kind of do a wrap-up of this year's Open, since we've been spending the last 5 weeks doing it, and also just give Matt a chance to come on and get his face and his voice on both the podcast and the vlog. I'm sure some people have heard him. I think he did something in the first episode. So just to give an idea of who Matt is and what he's doing to help us out. Me and Matt have kind of been collaborating because he's on the Bionic podcast, which we do for the gym. So we've been kind of working together on that with Chris, the gym owner, and then he's helping us out with this as a separate project. So yeah, we've both been kind of working our way through this, bouncing ideas off of each other. So I thought it'd be good to get him on here. And he does have a unique perspective of being his first open, which is a lot different from Lauren and I, who have been doing this a long time and kind of been through the ringer, yeah, as they say, over and over again through the open and kind of the CrossFit Games season. But the interesting part is that we've gotten so used to the CrossFit Games season that it might be more advantageous for Matt, seeing as how he's never been through that routine. And so it's not going to be a change for him, because this year, with the open being in October after the games and the game season starting right away pretty much after the CrossFit Games in 2019, we're going to get right into the 2020 season in October. Just kind of want to talk about kind of our thoughts on the open, see how it went for everybody, especially Matt in his first one, and then kind of talk about some goals that Lauren and I have, and even Matt, for this upcoming year, and see kind of what those goals are, how you plan on tackling them, and then kind of see where it goes. So
First, we should probably explain that Lauren just did a 76-minute AMRAP.
yeah, there's a reason why her hair is sweaty.
My
and
hair
she's
is
dirty.
yeah, it's soaking wet.
100 strict handstand push-ups.
Covered in dirt.
200
so I
squat
just
cleans.
went in the bathroom and cleaned with paper towels and water.
Yep.
Cleaning myself in the bathroom.
The bathroom. Lauren, what is 300 burpees?
You do 300 burpees.
That's,
Check that out.
and then you have to do a podcast / vlog afterwards.
Need to clean myself.
Using
Because
this.
apparently this isn't appropriate
Well,
for the
I
vlog.
mean, it's your public appearance, so
I look amazing.
however you want to look is your business.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so the open just finished, like we said. What'd you guys think?
That was good.
Wonderful insight. It was good.
It's challenging.
Yeah.
Definitely challenging.
Mm-hmm. Especially because you'd never done an open workout, so you didn't really know what
Had
to
no
expect.
ideas what to expect, and not being a CrossFit athlete per se, not really knowing how to do prep during the week.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of going with whatever was programmed, and then hoping that Friday's workout wasn't a movement we
same
did on
thing.
Thursday.
But it's interesting that you said challenging, Matt, because I don't think the workouts necessarily are any harder than what Chris programs on a day-to-day basis here.
Yeah.
So you think more of the fact that it's a competition, so you feel more kind of stressed to perform and do your best? You think that's where the challenging side comes into it, or?
Not for me, because I didn't care. I was going to be 195,000th no matter what. No, it was more challenging because it kind of lined up at the same time that I made a mental shift to challenge myself on bars and challenge myself on gymnastics movements instead of sticking with similar scales that I'd been doing for the last 9 months or a year. Just kind of realized that I was not plateauing, but I was getting good enough with some movements where it was time to add weight, or I was getting comfortable enough on the rig where I could start to try to do some gymnastic stuff.
Right.
So when these workouts came out, especially the scale division being really, having stuff like handstand push-ups in it. So it wasn't just like a pike press. You had to actually go upside down.
Right.
And a handstand push-up is something that I just kind of got the first time, maybe a week or two before the open. So that was kind of okay, well, here we go. We're going to do some gymnastics movements. So it was more challenging because when the open workouts come in, you kind of look at it, and I'm on that line of maybe doing RX on some things and maybe having to scale on a lot of other stuff. And a lot of decisions were just like, well, I'm not doing this for points, so why not just go RX and try?
Right.
So it was challenging in that regard, like mentally challenging.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, we're going to go RX, and it's going to suck because the weights are a lot heavier, and the gymnastics portions of it are a lot harder.
Right. Yeah, and it's good that you had that to kind of push you out of your comfort zone, right? Instead of just doing what you always do. It's like, okay, well, now I have to do it. It's even the scaled is I've got to get upside down and do a handstand. So
yeah, I was going to say, usually the scaled division is like an extremely scaled version of what the RX is. And this year they had, basically you're doing strict handstand push-ups, which they've never had, because usually it was like a push press or something for scaled, I think.
Like that, yeah.
And like they make you do pull-ups too. So for a lot of people, that's like their first ever pull-up or like their first semi-strict handstand push-up, instead of it being like a super easy scale. Like the scale division was actually challenging this year, which I think was good.
So a lot of times because of that, I would just look at it and go, well, let's just go RX then.
Yeah.
Right. It's like when you grab a 45-pound dumbbell and the RX is 50. Like, just
why not just go 50?
Just go 50. Like, like we did the other day.
Yeah.
In the midline madness.
Right.
I told you I was going to go 45. You just said no. Just grab a 50.
Yeah.
You did a 50?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. My left side not as strong as my right side.
Yeah. That happens though. Like that's good. You have to push yourself.
No, I had a one-on-one session with AJ. He was my. He was my personal trainer on Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't want to jump to conclusions, Matt, but it seems like that's kind of a first step in kind of what your goals are now, is to adjust your training so that we can maybe modify workouts in here that have higher skills and maybe lower the reps and change it around a little bit so we can work that practice into the workouts on a daily basis.
Yeah. 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 It's gotten to the point where I'm in good enough shape now where I should start to challenge on weights and start to practice on gymnastics movements that I'm not strong at. But, we did 2 minutes of bar muscle up practice. Got a couple funky ones in there. Yeah. But I'm not going to get better if I don't throw myself some reps, right?
Right.
So.
Well, now you're confident and you know that you can get them.
Yeah. So now it's just like, all right, let's not go up on the bar with my left side only first.
Right. Now you can work on technique because you know you have the strength to do it. You just have to work on the efficiency of it now. Yeah,
so for me, by October, I'd like to be more efficient in those and maybe have a shot at going into a workout expecting myself to get through them if there's a set of 5 or 10.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people at my skill level are kind of, like I know JP is kind of at that point too where he wants to start getting stuff like butterflies. He's got bar muscle-ups now. He just needs to work on them as well. He got handstand push-ups today, did 100 or he did 60 of them.
Right.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I think there's a good chunk of us at this gym that are at that. We're getting close to that point where we're going to start pushing ourselves to go into that more RX gymnastic stuff. Yeah. And start loading the bar up to try to go from our 85-pound scale to 135 over the next 6 or 7 months.
Right. So barring like a super heavy bar or some crazy new gymnastics movement that Dave Castro cooks up, would you say that a goal that you probably have would be to try and go RX on all the workouts in the October Open?
Yeah. 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 Barring something I know, like I don't have a 400-pound deadlift. So
right, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm not going to get there in 7 months.
You could.
I could. That's not, I guess it's possible.
We're videoing this, so.
Not naturally.
Yeah. No, that's good, though. So now we know Matt's goal. Lauren, what's your goal for the October Open coming up?
To not bomb any workouts.
Did you bomb any of these ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bombed the first one.
Okay.
She says bomb, but she finished in the 90th percentile.
Because it was rowing
and wall balls, yeah. So, I mean, every year it's the same things for me. Like, I'm never going to be great at those movements. I just have to minimize how bad. Like, it's just damage control on those.
Yeah.
But I would like to be consistent across all the workouts.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. That's pretty much it.
Right. I think it's similar for me, too. And I think that's pretty standard because we've been doing this so long. We have most of the skills, and we're decently strong. I mean, we're smaller athletes, so heavy weights are never going to be really a strength for us. But I think now Lauren and I are both at the point where it's no longer that, you know, you have these giant gaps in your fitness. It's more of like you have to focus on that one thing that maybe you're not good at. And for me, I know like 8 years now I've been doing the open, and every year that a strength event comes up, I'm like, oh shit, here we go again. Like, it's another strength event. And so I know, like, not like it's at the point where I just need to get stronger. Like, it's just, for 8 years I've said I need to get stronger, I need to get stronger. And seeing that Lauren in the past year has like really committed to getting stronger and like dialed her nutrition in. So she's kind of motivated me to get back and on track with my nutrition and really focus in on getting stronger. And so I think for the next, whatever it is, 6 months, because we're in April now, so October, yeah, about 6 months.
Whoa. April's in 2 days.
Yeah, that's still March. Slow it down a little bit.
Let's not go too crazy here.
All right. So in the next 6.5 months, I think the real focus for me has to be getting stronger, and just knowing kind of what our goals are beyond the open, and possibly participating in some sanctionals and doing some qualifiers either on a team or individual basis. For me, strength's going to be the one thing that's going to hold me back. So I know that gymnastics-wise, I've got good capacity. Endurance can always be better, so that's something that, you know, we're always going to work on. And obviously for me, it was similar to Lauren with the rowing and the wall balls in 19.1. That's just something that's a challenge for me, being 5'4" and 140 pounds. But along those same lines with dialing in nutrition and trying to get stronger, Lauren's been working with M2 Performance Nutrition for the past since
like a couple months. Yep.
How you liking it?
It's good. I love them. Yeah.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, it's a macronutrient based diet.
Yep.
And I hate to use the word diet, nutrition plan. And really what it is they tailor it to your goals and obviously your fitness level and how much activity you're doing and your body composition. So obviously for me, a big focus is going to be on putting on quality weight. So trying to build as much muscle mass as I can. And in doing that, kind of adjusting training to where it's more of a strength focus versus, conditioning and gymnastics, because I know I can take kind of a hit and a step back. I hate to say step back, but, kind of ease off the throttle on those two things and really focus in on using that energy and time to focus on strength, because it's something I've always said I have to do. But it's something I really need to take the next, couple weeks to kind of make a plan and really execute that plan over the next 6 months. So
with 6 months to go, how would you break that up? Would you go on like a 2-month or a 3-month strength build and then kind of go back to some more cardio?
Probably do more like isolation stuff.
Yeah, it's got to be both.
Bodybuilding type stuff.
Gotcha.
For me though, like I know personally, I can do a ton of bodybuilding, and my body just is not going to support a lot of muscle mass.
Oh.
I'm just never going to be 180 pounds, 190 pounds of solid stocky
You don't
muscle.
have the bone structure.
Right. So for me, it's more of focusing on the weightlifting, cleaning, snatching, jerks, squatting. Squatting's a big thing for me. I'm just not really built to squat. I've got some hip and knee issues that it just doesn't really favor me for that movement. So for me, it's going to be a lot of squatting, a lot of weightlifting and technique work, especially under heavier loads. So I think a majority of that time's got to be spent under, like we've talked about on the other podcast, that 70% and above, because that's where you're going to build strength.
Yeah.
It's fine to do the 50%, the 60% when you're trying to build conditioning and barbell cycling, but if you really want to put on strength and get comfortable under heavier loads, you've got to really load up that bar at that 70% or above level. So a lot of times it's that 5 reps and under, and 70% or above is probably where I'm going to spend majority of the next 6 months under a barbell.
Just living there.
It was like the opposite for me, though, because Chris had me do that bodybuilding program, and I think that's what helped me strength-wise, so I think I'm kind of the opposite of you.
Yeah.
Are you going for capacity now?
Huh?
You're just going to go for capacity now?
What do you mean?
Just working on, as many reps as you can get through something?
I mean, my maxes aren't high at all.
No?
But I can cycle, like, high percent, like, off my own percentages.
Oh, okay.
So.
But you've got a lot stronger legs and base than I do.
I guess.
Like, I think, like, at the end of the day, you can squat relatively to your body weight a lot more than I can. Yeah. And you can hit those heavier weights. Like, for me, I got to the 225 bar, and I could pull under it, but I couldn't squat it up in 19.2, right? Like, I pull it high enough.
Pull it up to, like,
I can
your
pull,
chin.
right? I just can't squat it, and I don't have the confidence in my squat. So that's why I say a lot of it is squatting. But additionally, too, like, you can squat all you want, but if you don't feel that load in doing a full clean or a full snatch, then it really doesn't do anything for you. You can have all the leg strength in the world, but if you don't have everything else to tie it together, then
just like the
it doesn't do much
of
for you.
getting under it too.
Right. Yeah.
Part of it, yeah. I
mean, if you look at even like a high level athlete like Cody Anderson, I know like is a big source of motivation for me because he was a smaller athlete, obviously on a different scale. I mean, the guy's a CrossFit Games athlete, but he was 160 pounds when he competed his first time at the CrossFit Games. And
ooh, boy.
Yeah, and
he's so strong though now.
But now I think he's front squatted over 400 pounds recently on Instagram.
He's crazy.
He cleaned, I think, like 370, 375.
Yep. And he's small.
And he's getting close to a 300-pound snatch. And it's literally because he's just taken probably now almost close to a year after the games. So maybe like, 8 months of just literally weightlifting. Like, he's just basically a weightlifter, and he does like 10 to 20 minutes of conditioning just to kind of keep himself in shape. But the fact remains that he's a small athlete. He knows what his weakness is. So he's taken a year off from competing. He's just going to get stronger, and he's going to come back because he's going to fill that hole. And unfortunately, in what we do with CrossFit sometimes, we get so caught up in trying to build overall fitness that we don't realize that it may be more advantageous to take a step back and focus on one thing and almost specialize, right? It's a bad word in CrossFit. It's the S word. We don't specialize, but for some people, like myself, I know I've been training now for 8 years. Like, I think my body needs that. I need to specialize because it's almost like you're getting variation in your body because now your body knows to expect. You're going to do moderate to lightweight for a lot of reps, and you're going to add in some kind of plyometric or gymnastics movement with that.
All right, you got to switch it up now.
But what is the open? Like, if you get third place on every workout in the open, and then there's that one that you bomb, you're screwed. You're not going to make the games. So it's like you have to make sure that you level out the stuff that you're good at with what you're bad at. Like, it was like what you were saying before. You could afford to lose a little bit of one thing if it's going to bump you up on something else.
Right. And I think that's my point with kind of where my training is going to go the next 6 months is just to back off a little bit on the gymnastics, back off a little bit on conditioning, to the point where I can take that time and energy that might be spent doing extra metcons or extra gymnastics work and just get under a heavy bar and force myself just to do that day in and day out. Obviously within reason, you can't lift heavy every single day, but there needs to be some kind of commitment to just getting stronger, because there's been times where like I'm gonna get stronger and then it's like, well, oh shoot, like my conditioning is getting worse, or like I can't do as many muscle ups, so like I gotta go back to that. And it's being okay with maybe doing 8 unbroken muscle ups instead of 15 unbroken muscle ups. Like, it's okay if you see muscle ups in the open. You can work your way through that, because at the end of the day, like, if you can break out, like, let's use this year's open as an example, right? 25 toes to the bar, I feel confident with, right? And I could probably do the 25 unbroken, but I'm not going to do 25 unbroken in the workout when I have a heavy clean, right?
Right.
So now next year, maybe I don't work on toes to bar as much, but I work on heavier cleans, right? I would be convinced that if that workout came up again, I'm still going to be able to do the 10-8-7 that I did on the toes to bar, right? But now I might have more confidence to get to that 225 bar, to get reps in that 225 bar. And those, I mean, even at those strength movements in that third bar and like a ladder, like for that workout, for example, or, 20 pounds more on a 1 rep max that they may test in the open, that could be the difference in thousands of spots. So, I think for me, that's my personal goal and where I want to go. And obviously it's going to be different for everybody. Like with Matt, like obviously you're new, right? You've been doing this consistently now for a year about, right?
Yeah, about a year and a half.
Yeah, and you were doing CrossFit before.
Yep.
But I would say like here in the gym, like
here it's been a year and a couple months. Yeah.
with the goal of like we're gonna get fitter.
Yep.
Shooting for the
Yeah.
Right.
Nutrition plan, the whole 9 yards.
Exactly. So I think you at this point, like you said, it's just a matter of trying to get the movements, right? Just get there.
Right. I couldn't squat. I couldn't go overhead. So, there's a long time where you've just got to get mobility before you can even do anything for strength.
Right.
Because if I threw 135 pounds on a bar and went overhead with it, I'm probably going to blow out my shoulder.
Yeah.
A year ago.
Right. Right.
So we've worked on that.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's all right, let's get bigger. Let's get stronger. But I need to always remind myself, because I can get carried away with stuff. I can go on binges of a particular thing because you kind of get excited about it and you're like, oh, I'm going to hit this hard for 3 months, right? But I'll need to stay on top of myself to always work on mobility because that's going to be something I'm weak at for a while still. I still have hip mobility issues. I have Achilles mobility issues. I still have shoulder mobility issues. So I've got a long way to go there as well. So I can't just go strength because then I'll lose the little mobility that I've gained.
Right, right.
So I've got to make sure that I'm always rolling out, stretching out,
You should look into the program that I use it. You don't use it anymore. GoWOD. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, you guys plugged that on the Bionic podcast
you
a while ago.
You should look into that because it'll specialize it to what your restrictions are.
That's good.
And use that as like part of your training because it's just as important as I can't speak. Sorry.
Lauren has she has 1 molecule of glucose in her whole body right now.
Exactly.
What was I even saying?
Important.
That's like as important as your actual training is mobility.
Right.
And keeping yourself healthy and working on that stuff. So
yeah, I'll never get better at snatching or overhead squats until I get that back mobility and those hip and shoulder mobility. Because if anyone ever sees a picture of me do overhead squat, my hips are really tight and I'm leaning into it because my lower back is really stiff and I can't square it up. I can't go down in a nice stiff position. So I'm never going to get a heavy load overhead if I'm just going to fall on my face every time I do an overhead
so what's
squat.
the point of working on the overhead squat or the snatch if you don't have the mobility?
Right.
So that should be a goal for you.
Yeah, so that's number 1 is open up the hips, get the back going, and then we'll start adding weight. But that doesn't mean I can't work on something like a push press to build.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like you shouldn't be working on going heavier on those lifts
right.
if you're
right. Yeah.
If you can't
if
do
I can't
them
do the
correctly
lift.
with a lighter weight.
Yeah, that's just dawned on me in the last few months that whenever we have snatches in here, I go as light as I can because I know the form is hard enough for me right now. I don't really care about the muscle stimulus with weight because just getting the form in is enough of a stimulus for me.
Yeah.
If it's like, what do we do, like 95, 75? Is that like the late snatch that we usually do for longer
95,
reps?
65, yeah.
95, 65, yeah. Yep. So I'll probably grab 65 on those or 75 and probably cut the reps down just because I need the practice at the form.
Yeah.
Maybe by October I'll have a looser back and looser hips.
So you'll have a 200-pound snatch by then?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, I look at you guys and I look at some other people in here and I look at the weights you guys throw up and I go, okay, I'm 6'1", I'm 183 pounds. I could easily stack a lot of muscle on my body. So I could go beast mode if I got another year or two of really hard discipline in, right? There's no reason why I couldn't have really high weight movements, but it's going to take a while.
Right.
It's going to take a long while.
Strength takes a long time to build more than anything else. Like conditioning you can get pretty quickly, but strength takes a long time.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Yep. And honestly too, like the stronger you get, a lot of times what we do with conditioning, with barbell cycling, it's going to be easier.
Yeah.
Like if you've got a 225-pound clean versus a 185-pound clean, well, if I throw 95-pound cleans at you, 95 is going to feel a lot lighter if you got a 225 one versus a 185, especially as that workout goes along. So,
swinging a heavy baseball bat before you go up to the plate. That
feels
baseball
lighter.
bat feels real light.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, it almost sounds like CrossFit. Like, you do one thing, you get better at another. Like, you got to do everything, and it makes everything better, right? Everything feeds into each other. So it's being that well-rounded athlete. But like I said before, there's a balance to that, right? Because you can train everything and then find that you have one weakness, which is kind of what I found, right? I've been doing consistent, like, balanced training for now almost 9 years, right? 8 years. and it just for me like it's at a point where if I really want to compete, like if I want to try and do that at the sanctional level, whatever that may be, right, in RX, whatever, intermediate, however it may fall, comes down to the fact that I just need to get stronger, right? There's a glaring hole there for me in my fitness. They talk about the triangle where it's conditioning, gymnastics, and weightlifting, and like my triangle is like good, and then like it's more of like a
it's
little,
like what's it called? What's that
the
triangle
obtuse?
called? Yeah,
that's the
obtuse
one.
triangle.
That's the one.
You got a low
really
angle in the
long
corner
this
there.
way, a tiny one here, and then another long one at the bottom.
That long hypotenuse over the power.
I'm gonna start hashtag obtuse life. Oh man, yeah. So
I remember my trigonometry. Let's go sine, cosine, tangent.
there you go. I don't remember any of this, so I'm glad that
Back's
you
tightening
guys
up.
are smart. My back's actually tightening up from just standing here too, but
You didn't even work out today.
I didn't. Yeah, I walked around a lot. I had to coach for an hour. The workout was over an hour, and I was standing, walking around.
Hey, it was only over an hour for one person.
I capped myself out at 50
that
today.
one person was me.
Yeah.
JP goes, I'm going to keep going. I'm like, you keep going, buddy.
He kept going.
I don't think I can go upside down anymore. I think I'm going to blow something
That was
out.
the easiest part.
Not for me.
The handstand push was the easiest part.
Well, for those people who don't know what the heck we're talking about right now, we did an old Bergeron comp train workout.
Shout out to Benny.
Shout out to Ben. It was 100 rounds of 1 handstand push-up, 2 squat cleans. Okay. 1 strict handstand push-up. Thank you, Lauren. 2 squat cleans and 3 burpees. 100 rounds of that.
100 rounds and or 50 minutes.
So for the class this morning, it was a partner workout. So you each did 50 rounds, right, for 100 total, and you alternated rounds. So one person would go through 1, 2, 3, and then the next person would do 1, 2, 3, and then you would alternate back and forth until you got to 100. Well, Lauren decided that wasn't enough for her.
No,
So-
I did not. That's not what happened.
So that's what happened.
I was
Yep.
peer pressured by
She was
Chris,
peer pressured by Chris.
who left after 70 rounds.
Who bailed out?
Comes up to me, he's like, I did 70 in 50 minutes. I gotta go, but keep going. You're doing great. And then he laughs, and I'm like, well, guess I'm doing the rest of this myself.
I've always wondered if, because I don't want to get off topic, but you just did 70 rounds of, pretty high intensity workout, and then you get in a car. I wonder if it's just as being inebriated as being drunk.
I'm terrified to get into my car and sit down.
Like your blood sugar is super low.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you got pulled over, would a cop think you're kind of drunk?
Well,
Right,
I'm
right.
freaking, I had dirt all over my body. My hair is wet. A cop would be like,
Where
where
did this
did you
girl
just
come
come from?
Well, we're okay on that because Lauren will never drive anywhere when I'm in the car, so don't worry about that. She won't be driving. Yeah.
don't-
She drove one time last week, and it was the greatest experience of my life. I was like, oh my God.
I get driven around sometimes
This
too.
is
but
so nice.
Yeah, I think 98% of the time I'm piloting the vehicle.
Oh, dude, I'm
Even in my car, he
99.9999999. Like, I think that might be the first time in 4 years that Lauren has driven.
I love being in
Nice.
the passenger seat and just controlling the music and looking at the scenery while AJ drives.
the scenery. You know what the scenery is? It's Instagram. Instagram is
Sure.
the scenery.
Why not?
Yeah. She means the scenery in somebody else's home state that's posted on Instagram, not her beautiful state of
Oh, there's
Connecticut.
foliage in Virginia.
That's so nice.
AJ, look at this post. I'm driving.
I get the
can't-
same thing.
Yeah.
Look at this cute pug. Babe, I'm going 85 miles an hour right now.
Right. Yeah. If you want to explain that to the state trooper, that's fine. I'll give you the ticket.
Yeah. Distract.
Oh my God.
You know what's the best part is that's on video.
Yeah. Now I'm going to be like Freddie Mercury when
Yeah,
he
so
sings from
wasn't me
Queen.
bent over for 5 minutes. That's
my
in the video.
That's in the
too.
video too. Luckily, you're facing away from the camera.
I thought these were actually mounted pretty good today. This is awkward.
I mean, ours are good. No offense, Matt, but
Can't wait for that Pollo Guapo that I'm having in about
I did mount all of them, so only...
how many
38
plugs
minutes.
can we fit into one podcast? We've got M2 Performance. We've got Go Wad. We've got El Pollo Guapo.
Box Bistro?
Detach water.
Box Bistro. Actually, that is a good point. Box Bistro did comment on our one of our posts saying that they liked what we were putting out. So shout out to them. Lauren and I both get some prepared foods from them. We usually do like our meats for the week. We'll get from Box Bistro because they do a really good job of seasoning all their meats and Their buffalo chicken is amazing.
The buffalo chicken, I could eat every day for the rest of my life and not get sick of it.
And you're probably the 5th person I've heard that from.
And I love buffalo chicken is my favorite food.
I'm a fan too.
I am obsessed with it.
Yeah, it's great.
Always get it.
And they're reasonably priced, local business.
Super nice people.
James,
too.
the owner, is a super nice guy. He was in here doing a sampling for Bionic probably about, what?
A few months ago.
And
but they cater for us a lot too when we have parties and stuff. So.
Yeah, they're a big part of our community, and I'm sure
James,
it's the same for a lot of other gyms because they're very active in Connecticut with the CrossFits, and so.
Yeah, James and I have talked a little bit online. I think we're gonna get together and do something for this.
Definitely.
Nice.
Just to get him in here, and I don't know if it'll be, I don't know what media format it'll be on, but just to get him in and have him talk about it.
They're awesome too because they put macros on everything.
That
and
helps.
if it's not on there and you like chat him, he responds so quickly. He's like, "Oh yeah, here's the macros for that."
Yeah.
So he's very responsive and
for sure.
Super nice guy.
So next 6 months to the Open, we're being fueled by M2 Performance and Box Bistro.
Box Bistro.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Fuel for Fire.
And Fuel for Fire. Oh,
you guys need to get some T-shirts made up with all your sponsors on them.
Our sponsors
our
that don't know that they
sponsors
sponsor us.
are not our sponsors.
That's how it starts, though, right? You help them, you shake their hand.
Yeah.
They pat you on the back, and then you start getting some free buff chick.
Yeah, I
Oh
would
my
love
God, that
any
would be
free buff
so
check would be amazing.
Amazing.
But yeah, no, so I'm excited. I think it's natural, and it happens every year after the Open where there's that motivation because you now have some tangible results of what you did and kind of looking at it and digesting it and kind of evaluating where you can get better. And I think for years I'd done that and never really followed through. And I think this year, this will help with that too, having the podcast, having the vlog where we can incorporate a lot of our goals into this. And now there's that, what's the word I'm looking for? Accountability.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Mm-hmm. I will keep you accountable.
That accountability to be kind of updating as we're going along and seeing where we're going and how the goals are coming along for us. Because I know, Lauren, you were, 1,200th or something like that in the United States this year for women, which is freaking awesome because I think there's almost 100,000.
76,000 in the U.S.
In the U.S.
That's nuts.
So
that 90 percentile finish really dropped me down.
But 1,200th out of 70-something thousand people should really be a motivating factor to realize that, like, what you're doing is paying off. So I think it's just a matter for you to just continue to do what you do and definitely.
Yeah, I just want to see, like, how good I can get at this point.
Sure.
Yeah. I think that's why we all do this, right? It's to see where we can push ourselves to. It's just Lauren's she's entering that different level where we're all like.
I'm also a psychopath, so.
That's true.
You don't know me.
But I'm very proud of Lauren for what she does. She's very committed, and that's just who she is as a person. I mean, anything she does, whether it was PT school or even before that in softball, and now even into CrossFit, she's just very committed to what she does, and she doesn't do anything, 60%, 70%, even 95%. She does everything 100%, and that's motivating for me. And I think now more so than ever, that's just kind of my drive to be better and try to make myself better, and hopefully together over the next 6 months we can see some even better results than Lauren's seen, and hopefully myself too. And I think for me, seeing in the past couple Opens, I've actually dropped it back a few places, and that can vary based on the amount of people that have participated. But I think for the past few years I kind of been stuck in this limbo, and I've had some personal stuff going on, and for me it's just prioritizing something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and I think now more so than ever, like I said, with the vlog, with the podcast, having some accountability, and even Matt and Lauren now, and Chris here too, who's always been a supportive factor in training. I think I can really focus in on that. So, Lauren, I don't know if you want to wrap up. Those are kind of my closing thoughts. I don't know what you got.
No, I agree. I think you pretty much said everything that I was thinking.
Yeah, just kind of continue what you're doing, and
that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to really change anything.
It's working for you.
Yeah.
Doing the bike every day.
I do, but I'm going to start doing more running now too because it's getting nicer out. But
do you want to plug somebody else?
Aerobic capacity.
Is that 5
Well, we
now?
did their program 2 years ago, 2017, and we mostly did running, but I have severe weakness on the bike, so I just started. I think maybe in October or November. I just started biking every day, And I think that's immensely helped my conditioning too. But
I feel like the bike is severely unfair for anybody under like 5'5".
Oh, it's terrible.
It's not built
but I've
for shorter
gotten better
people.
at it, and it's translated over to other things. So we'll keep doing that.
Don't say that, Matt. People freak out when you say that short people are at a disadvantage.
Well, all right, let me be clear. There's some shorter people in here that can fly by me on the bike, but I watch how much harder they have to work because they just don't have the leverage just to the angles of the shoulders and the hips.
I'm literally pushing up on the handles.
So I can push almost straight down.
As opposed to like Jeremy, who's like over them.
Exactly.
Just manhandling it.
Manhandling the bike,
Mauling it.
Like yesterday, that workout was bike and deadlifts, which was terrible, and bar facing burpees. Chris and Jer flew on the bike. They were done with 40 calories in like a minute and 40 seconds.
Sounds like Jake last night.
Oh my God. Dude, but he couldn't function after.
I know.
Like, Jake,
one round jump.
You know this is going to happen. Why do you keep doing it?
Right.
Got to get better.
He's so funny.
He really is.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How about you, Matt? Closing thoughts?
Oh, boy. Yeah, just sticking with this new plan. I've only been doing it for like 3 weeks now, where I've been adding more weight and pushing myself. And I'm going to probably be pushing the coaches to give me more feedback than usually I had been asking for in the past.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, and I'm a very stubborn person. So when I get a little bit of knowledge, I tend to just assume I know the whole thing.
Right.
But I know that's not true in a lot of this stuff. So where there are clear gaps, like in form or mobility, like, all right, let's ask the question, how do we get better at this?
Right.
What can I actually do? Because I'm not getting any better.
Yeah.
And then just going with it. So whatever Chris, you, Lauren, anyone here suggests, just putting in the work and seeing where it takes me.
Yeah. The thing for you is just doing what you're doing and keep showing up and be consistent. And
yeah, I've learned I have to eat more too.
Yeah.
Carbs.
Not eating anywhere near enough.
No.
It's hard, man.
People really, yeah.
My baseline's like what people eat when they're working out.
Oh, you think it's hard?
I'm big.
Once you try putting some weight on, now I'm going to be eating like everything in sight.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, I got to go from like 3,200 to like almost
3,200?
Yeah. How much do you weigh, Matt?
185?
He's 185.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense,
that's
I
like
guess. To survive.
So I have like 2,000.
Right.
That's what mine is.
I'm almost double you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so cool. All right, guys. Well, for those of you tuned in, thank you. Appreciate you guys giving us the views, listens. We'll put this probably up on SoundCloud and YouTube because that'll count towards our time on SoundCloud, get ourselves closer to a little iTunes action.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, we should be having another podcast coming up, another guests, and some more vlogs will be coming your way, specifically probably into some nutrition because we talked about that today. So I think maybe we'll do some more details on kind of what we're going to be doing our diets. And
I think a lot of people will be interested to see what a lot of people that know you here.
Yeah.
And then obviously
like
your
a day of eating or something like that for each
like
of us.
Like a grocery trip and day of eating and that kind of thing. So
yeah, because you guys both have full-time jobs. You're busy.
Yeah.
You coach after work, so you don't have a lot of time to you just got to have it prepped right and then just shove it down your face when you have time.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Kind of, we go more into this, but yeah, I plan my meals out like day in advance.
Yeah.
Right.
So I know when I'm grabbing, but.
And I assume you guys have some sort of timing where you're eating carbs a certain amount of time before your work. Yeah. So that I think that's all really good information for people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep. And a lot of that too is the nutrition company we're working with now with M2 Performance, and they kind of guide you through on when you should be eating certain things, and that's really what you're paying for is the timing and somebody who has that knowledge, because we're not nutritionists, we don't have that background. So overall, give it our best effort the next 6 months, invest some time, some assets, and see where we can take this thing. So
you got 6 months to become a competitor.
Become a big boy.
All right, my legs and my feet and my back hurt, so I think we're done now.
And with that, that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good week.
Guys.